the driver development coordinator for the terminal, what are your overall responsibilities?
Getting just the new drivers in trucks with their mentor, their trainer, maintaining their training, making sure they get paid, get home, and get their own truck.
Now, when they finish their 3 days of orientation, they're going to be going with a mentor that you've assigned to them, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, how do you go about assigning a mentor to a student?
Because we're a smaller terminal than some, I like to evaluate the mentors I have with the students that I have and the needs that may be required. And then I match them up and get them on a truck and start their training.
So you're trying to get a fit so that this is going to be a successful relationship between the mentor and the student for 42 days, right?
I try.
As best you can.
As best I can in 2.5 days.
Now, what would you say that the biggest expectation that a new driver coming out of orientation has about getting on that truck with that trainer and going out for 42 days?
Scared to death.
Okay, so fear is a big thing, right?
Fear is a big thing.
Fear of the unknown. They don't have a clue as to what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Right? They're saying, I'm going to get on the truck with this guy, or if it's a lady, with this lady, or however it's paired up, okay? And the question in their mind is, where am I going? What's going to happen to me? You know, what's the course of events that are going to take place? So the question is, what really happens? What does happen during those 42 days?
42 days, they are developing the skills that they should already have coming into class. Mentor is there to overlook everything they do, their logs, their shifting, their downshifting, their backing, making sure that they are qualified to come back in and have all the functions that it needs to be a safe driver out there.
What would you say one of the biggest challenges that a new recruit or new driver has when he gets on the truck with the mentor?
Communication.
Okay, communication. We've heard that over and over. Communication. Let's talk about that a little bit. What do you mean by communication?
Having the knowledge and the desire and the lack of fear to talk to that trainer. Talking to that mentor, asking the questions over and over, and feeling comfortable by doing so. Because you are going to have questions, ask over and over and over. And
so repetition.
Repetition.
Repetition. Ask those questions.
Ask them over and over.
If you're uneasy about something, make sure that you speak up and let the mentor know about it, right?
Exactly. And if that doesn't work, then they need to call driver services.
Okay.
Call back in and go, I'm not getting it. So we can find out why they're not getting it.
Now, is there an evaluation that goes on that we evaluate that student on that truck for those 42 days?
There is.
How does that work?
There is a training packet out there that the mentor and student fill out on a weekly basis, and it is checked off, dated with initials, dated with dates and everything on what they're doing. The coupling, uncoupling, the Qualcomm, the backing, the violations, the citations, everything that needs to be gone over, they are done on a weekly basis at that point. And this is how we evaluate what the student is being taught out there.
Okay, does the student do any evaluating?
Student does a mentor evaluation basically 4 times. They'll do 3 interviews with Memphis on their training. Is the truck clean? You know, are they doing all the backing? Is a Qualcomm being used? So the mentors are being evaluated over the phone with Memphis, plus there's an evaluation in the end of the packet that they evaluate their mentor when they come in to get released to solo. Plus, if there's a problem, they need to be able to have a communication with the driver services to let us know what's going on out there.
A trainer mentor who has been doing this for a number of years and has developed a lot of skill and expertise in training a new driver for Swift. And we've got a new driver that comes on board that might think that he just knows a little bit more than that trainer does. Now, I'm sure we encounter this sort of situation, don't we?
All the time.
All the time. How do we handle that?
Well, basically we let the mentor handle it to a point. The mentor usually evaluates the student, their knowledge, whether they're an experienced driver, 1 to 2 weeks, or the new program we've got going, 50 to 100 hours, and we evaluate their knowledge and their skills. If it's a student that's going out for the 6 weeks or 240 hours, we evaluate their skills, and the mentor pretty much will sit them down and they have truck rules. The truck rules are to be obeyed, and one of them is listening, and listening hard to that mentor so that mentor can pass off all their knowledge, skills, and expertise to that student that is coming on to Swift.
So the student needs to have the attitude of being a sponge, right?
Exactly.
Absorbing,
everything,
and listening, and learning everything,
and
that he
taking
or she
notes
can from that mentor.
Yeah.
Taking notes. It's a learning process.
Constantly practice what that mentor has taught them, and they need to do it on a daily basis when they're behind the wheel of that truck. That's what that mentor's there, is teaching them the skills. They're to practice those skills,
Right.
and go out there with that mentor at all times.
Now, I have a question for you. And the question is, I want you to think about it. And I want you to speak to all the new hires and all the new recruits that are coming into Swift Transportation. Okay? Today, tomorrow, and in the future. What would you say to all these new hires about Swift Transportation and coming into orientation?
I would say it's all about safety, service, and trust.